It's February 2nd, 2016. Quick recap of the markets today. Today was picture perfect price action on so many instruments. It was a really beautiful trading day today with many opportunities. So let's go through some of the highlights. First off, just want to showcase the ES. First of all, ES of course is the S&P futures, E-mini futures. And we had a gap down this morning about 1% around there. And if you take a look here, this is the 15-minute chart. We gapped down at the 10 o'clock. We found a good amount of support at the opening range, and this is why I always like to watch this 30 period or this 30-minute opening range, because this really held that price action for a good, for the good morning session. Now I drew in my Fibonacci grids here, so as always, we draw from the previous day's high to the intraday low. If it gaps down, we forecast it that way. If you take a look at how the day played out, look at that. It pops right down to 1892 at that level, and that was close to the near the lows of the day. So you had some really good trading opportunities on the ES itself, just to basically take opening range break plays. That's a whole different video, but again, this is a a classic trading day where it's pretty much picture perfect in terms of the target. So today I traded a couple of instruments. I traded the VIX. I actually enjoy trading the VIX lately because the volatility is high. I actually like trading it more than the S&P or the E-minis. And I also traded another hot stock. A stock that was in play today was Kors, which I'm going to highlight in a few moments. Or Michael Kors, the designing company. It popped up close to about 17%, 15-17% in the morning, and then it closed off near 24% for the day. But let's quickly take a look at the VIX trade today and see how that played out. So VIX, if you take a look at it, here it is on the 15-minute chart. If you take a look here, again, I drew in the Fibonacci targets, again, from the bottom of the range of yesterday's session to the high of the opening range, right, the 30-minute opening range, and look how that far that extended. At the 127.2 mark was 25.62, and on that bar there, the high was 25.63. So that's really picture perfect as it pertains to Fibonacci trading. So again, nothing mystical with Fibonacci's, just that there's so many people looking at it that sometimes these things just play out exactly. And today was one of those days, and you just hate to be the guy who bought at 25.62. He got maybe one ticket profit, and then it went against him for the rest of the day. But let's go down to a 2-minute chart and let's take a look at the trade I took on the VIX. So on the VIX trade today, this is the first one. Actually, I missed the VIX trade. I'm sorry. I took a trade on Kors, and I'm going to highlight DUST, or the Dust ETF, which is a gold, inverse gold miners ETF. But I wanted to take a VIX trade right here on this bar at 9:35. It was an entry there. This is what I call a typical early bird setup. I missed this by literally seconds. By the time I got this order in, I did not get filled, and it quickly went up to 3R. So again, that was a 3R move, and I would have caught at least 2 of that R, 2R in that trade. So unfortunately, I missed that trade. So that was an easy one, and unfortunately, that was a trade that I just missed on this morning. But going back to the ES for a second, if you take a look here, so what happens that after that, and again, the ES is basically the inverse of the VIX. We have the ES, break down here. It rushes back in and actually begins to find resistance at the opening range low. All right, and you can see here, it tries again, it comes back down, runs back up, and it finds resistance here and here again from the opening range low. And finally, it breaks down, and it sold off for most of the rest of the session. But the VIX gave you some great entries. So here is a great opportunity right there to get long the VIX. So basically, the inverse pattern here of the ES. Here again is a nice opening, I like call early bird play. And if you don't want to take this setup, if you don't know what it is, then another way to get long this particular setup price action was to look for that break of this particular trend line. This bar here would have been an excellent place to get long, right? So this bar right there was an excellent place to get long. And from here, you could If you were aggressive, you could just put your risk to rewards there, or sorry, if you were more aggressive, you'd probably put it around here at the breakout bar, and that trade would have yielded another plus 4R, and I would have captured at least plus 4 in that trade. All right, so great movement again on the VIX today. Now what I decided to do instead is I decided to trade DUST, as I saw that one set up a couple of times. So on DUST, I first got long on this particular setup here. Early bird play, I'll draw in the extension there. So it ran up quickly, it ran up to plus 2R, and then on this next bar here, I got stopped out. So I was trailing the stop, it touched my plus 2R, and then I got stopped out for plus 1R with a bit of slippage. That was the way it was. So got plus 1R on that particular setup. So I wasn't giving up though on dust, because I knew that we had some strong opportunity in dust. So I kept stalking dust, and I was looking for an opening range break play. And this is the one that I finally spotted. So on the opening range break play, it was right here. So you can see from this bar here, the one I'm highlighting right there. Okay. There was a really good opportunity here because we had some consolidation happening right at the opening range highs, squeezing into this 5-period moving average, and a break above the opening range high is a great place to get long. And that's where I got long. So I got long on the break of the opening range high with a stop of just 2 ticks, about 2 ticks below this area here, and I got a good plus 2R trade out of it. So if you look at the 2-minute chart here, what we actually saw out of dust was that we actually had an unfilled gap at 13.59 today, and that was actually my target. So 13.59 was my target. That was actually the unfilled gap on the daily charts, and look where the price went today. It got to a high of 13.61. I got filled on that position, and that was a good plus 2R trade on dust. So I collected plus 1R on that first trade, plus 2 on that, so that's a plus 3 already on dust. Now to close things off, I also traded Coors. That was really the stock in play today, and Coors was again another great mover. So take a look at the 50-minute chart there. Once again, I'm drawing the Fibonacci targets in. Yesterday's low to today's opening range high. We extended out, and look at where price action went to today. Extended to 50.65 is the 127.2 extension, and price here hit 51.04. Again, it's really picture perfect the way that the price action moved today. Now I didn't take an opening range break play on this one. I actually ended up taking an early bird setup on Coors, and I got long on this price action right there. So this bar that I'm highlighting right now, I'll just zoom in. I got long on that bar right there because I saw the breakout above the opening range high. What I liked about this was that it was also in conjunction with the increase in volume. So we had a bit of low in volume there. This thing popped, and that got me interested in getting long. And this trade pretty much worked out right away. So these are the kind of trades I love, where when it works out right away like this, it's really golden. And this trade here, it went up to 4R, and then it came back in, and I got stopped out at 49.45. So another great 3R trade on this one. So cumulative for the day was roughly 6R. Excuse me, the last one the last one was 3R. So cumulative of 6R. And again, this is a great opportunity. In fact, I actually stepped away from the trading desk here over lunch, and this is when I got stopped out at 49.45 on a trailing stop. But really, picture perfect opportunities here. There's even more opportunity to get back into Coors again, to let that ride. If you take a look here on the 50-minute chart, this is another beautiful setup right there on a low risk entry, right? So here you could have, I'll just zoom in here. On that really small price bar, we have some consolidation, a narrow range candle there. You could have squeezed out another 2 to 1R on that trade. So that's another one that would have been quite compelling if you chose to take that one. So really nice trading today on Coors, because it was just one of those stocks that was that that was in play. Anyways, I hope that helps, and reach out to me if you have any questions.